Welcome back to my channel, brothers and sisters. In this video today, we'll be making a wooden iPad book stand. Now this is optional. You can use whatever wood that you like. I'm going to be using maple, cherry, and mahogany. Also, I'm only using a couple of pieces for this project. I don't have access to a jointer, so therefore I use my miter saw to get a clean edge. And then I took out my combination square, and believe it or not, brothers and sisters, I was right on the money. Everything was squared perfectly. Now off camera, I was able to cut the mahogany and also the cherry. Okay, now I have this great idea. Since I don't want you guys to fall asleep while I do this glue up, I'm gonna try to perform a magic trick. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bang! Brothers and sisters, I know you enjoyed this tutorial, and I definitely know you like my channel, but please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, where you are inspired and empowered to build this wonderful iPad book stand. Now, to speed up the process, what I did is I took this bad boy and ran it through my thickness planner. I really hope you guys take advantage of my short videos, which explain on how to operate this thickness planner in detail. Once I was finished with the thickness planner, I created a template, which I will leave a link inside the description box for you to print out one. I made one small minor adjustment to the template later on the video, which I ended up correcting. And presto, it's done. But wait, I gotta add my hole to the handle. Once I was finished the outline of the handle, I took out my jigsaw, attached a blade to it, and I started to cut through the material. I could have used a bandsaw, but unfortunately I don't have a bandsaw at this moment, so I figured that by using the jigsaw I had a little bit more control in making the cuts. Now in the beginning of the video, I said to you guys that I had to make one small minor adjustment, and guess what? Here goes the small minor adjustment. Okay, brothers and sisters, you're probably wondering, what is the problem here? Well, as you can see, I made the markings off of the template way too small, so therefore I have to adjust it a little bit. And another thing you're probably saying to yourself, well, strike a line on both sides. Well, I can do that, but I don't want to waste any more material. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to extend it a little bit, and I'll show you how. What I'm going to do is take these two lines on both sides and just stretch them along the side so I don't have to make any cuts. Now I grab a marker and just take it nice and slow like this. Okay, now you just grab your jigsaw and just go slow down the middle here, make that curve cut, and then voila, this is it. This is it, brothers and sisters. See, look at that. Looks nice, right? Okay, let's take care of the other side. Since this cut is kind of tight, you just want to hold that jigsaw and make sure that you follow the line. Wow, this is great. I really like this. Wow. Now the next thing that we have to do is sanding. So we're going to start off with 80, 120, and 220 grit. Now for this project, I'm not going to be using my traditional orbital sander, but I'm going to be using a hook and loop attached to my hammer drill. Thank you very much. Now, a hammer drill is used to drilling hard materials such as stone, concrete walls, but I've used it for sanding many times in my videos. The main objective is to sand some of these reference lines I made tracing with the template. Brothers and sisters, I have a good feeling this iPad book stand is going to turn out to be great. And again, I want to thank you for joining me putting it together. But please, on your way out, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Once I sand down the reference lines, I took out my spade bit and I applied a hole to the handle. I took care of the rough spots with my sander, and then I took out my trim router and I made the edges a whole lot smoother than they were before. And I made sure that I did it for both sides. And to be honest with you, this is really starting to look sexy. And guys, I just want to know, you can leave me a comment on, if you were to make this project, what would you change? And also, what what would you keep? Well, put it this way. I know one thing that I would like to change. I would actually put a knife holder on it, a magnetic knife holder on the side, so that I'll be able to keep my knives from being all over the place. And talking about changes, what I did off camera, I was able to make the stand itself all round. Now I'm working on the shelf itself. Now I had a couple of burnt marks on the sides of the stand itself, so what I did is I took out my hammer sander and I went to work. Throughout the whole sanding process, I was using 120 grit sandpaper, and at the end I realized the results were very impressive. I really liked it. And for those of you who loves cooking, this will be a great gift to yourself. I don't know about you guys, but I hate the fact holding a book and try to stir a pot at the same time. And once I was finished with sanding, I took out my dowel jig and then strike a couple of reference lines, and then took out my combination square to even out the sides. Now, brothers and sisters, this is a very important step right here, and you want to make this be able to hold an iPad and also a 200-page cooking book. I'm using masking tape to help guide my reference lines, so when I'm ready to drill in my holes, I won't have any problems. Just like this, as you see it on the screen, I got my reference line and I'm ready to drill in my holes with my dialing jig. I did a double take just to make sure that my reference line lines up with the lines that are on my material. Now, if you really like this jig, this dowel jig, I'll leave a link inside the description box and where to pick up one. Once I was satisfied with my reference lines, I took out my clamp and I clamped the dowel jig onto my workbench, and then afterwards I started drilling in my holes. Now, once you finish drilling in your holes, you apply the glue. Now you apply it to the other side of the material. Now you don't really have to be over generous applying the glue. Just keep in mind that we're not building a cutting board, we're only building a stand. Now all you have to do is give it a light tap with your rubber mallet. Now the most important thing is that the dowels have to sink in. And go ahead, give it a couple of taps if you want to. So don't be afraid, just give it as much as a tap as you want to. But anyway, guys, this is really starting to look good. This is the kickstand. Now I bet you guys are wondering, how is this kickstand gonna work? Well, this is the way it's gonna work. First, you line up boards together. Now you make sure that the boards are secured, and then what you do is you take out your combination square and square up the sides. Now after that, you strike pencil mark on both sides of the kickstand. Now what you do is you line up the board against the reference mark that you make, and you strike a line going across. Now this will measure the width that you need to cut for the kickstand in order for this to work. Now that you have your reference lines, take out your spade bit and then get ready to make some cuts. Well, you're not going to be making any cuts. You're going to be drilling some holes, a few holes. And the idea is to make enough holes so that you are able to use your jigsaw to cut the holes. And also, by the way, I'm using a 3 1/4 inch spade bit, and my diameter was less than 3 inches. Afterwards, I took out my jigsaw, then I attached a blade to it, then I proceeded to cut the reference lines that I made earlier. Take your time while performing this cut. It's always one side and then the other side. Now, once you finish cutting out your reference line, everything should pretty much look like this. I had a few imperfections along the way, so what I did is I took out my chisel and removed them. Brothers and sisters, try to remove as much as possible, because what happens if you do not remove this properly, the kickstand would not be able to slide into the slot. Now, the order of operations here is to use your chisel first, and then that will give you good definition. But the most important thing is to keep it inside that reference line that you made earlier. Now, once you finish with your chisel, take out your rasp and start filing the ends. Okay, the moment that we've been waiting for. Let's see if this works. Voila, it works. Fantastic. Great. I love this already. See? No resistance whatsoever. It just slides in nice and smooth. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the final touches on this iPad Cookbook Stand. And you think that I will miss out on this part, but no way. The branding is more important. As a woodworker, I learned that branding is the most important piece of any project that you do, because this is your work and you want to stamp it and you want it branded. Very important. Now what I'm doing is I'm applying some conditioning to the board and I'm making it spotless and beautiful. And actually this was before that I applied the condition, but ladies and gentlemen, this is really beautiful. I really enjoyed this project. And I want to say that I really enjoy the fact that you guys were able to stick around with me towards the end of this video. My name is Benoit Sherry. Thank you very much. Peace out.